Fellas, what makes a date successful? Is it two people being attracted to each other's looks? Or is it actually about personality? People with the similar personalities creating an emotional resonance throughout the date, connecting with one another, finding each other so attractive because we are so similar to one another? Or is it a case about opposites attract? Opposite personalities makes me more interested in them and them more interested in me because we are so different and it's so cute. Or is it actually saying the right things at the right time? Have the pickup artist community been right all along? The answer to this question is none of them. Bruh. Because it is the combination of all of them combined, you know, the age-old boring answer. At the end of the day, it's the middle of all of it. But who cares? Whatever. In today's episodes of Romantic Nonsensicology, we're gonna look at a case study of a ruined date. Our two main characters here are Sian and Junseo, two participants of this South Korean dating show Singles Inferno. In this one, it is quite funny. Because
호감 가는 사람이 좀 추려졌어? 누구야? 물어봐도 돼? 누구 기다렸어?
어?
누구 기다렸어?
나 계속 얘기했어. 너랑 대화하고 싶다고.
진짜?
그래. 아니 나 시안 씨랑
imagine one of your friends, you coming up to them, you ask them like, hey, is there anyone you're kind of interested in? Yeah, I don't know. You? Me? Essentially, she had no clue at all that Junseo by this point is supposedly interested in her.
완전 몰랐는데?
This is not exactly the beginning of their interest in one another within this show. By this point, they have been interacting before, they have went on a date with each other, but Junseo during that date didn't really show reciprocation of interest, even though Sian, the female here, is interested in Junseo.
제가 준서 씨 뽑을 줄 알았나요?
아니요?
아, 1도?
당연하죠.
아, 그래요?
Blah blah blah, but here Junseo is clarifying that hey, I am actually interested in you.
오늘 얘기 나눠보면은 확실하게 얘기할 수 있을 것 같다고.
누구 기다렸어?
어? 나 계속 얘기했어. 너랑 대화하고 싶다고.
진짜?
그래.
네?
And then of course, since Sian is already interested in Junseo to begin with, she asks her out on a date, which in this show is called Going to Paradise. During their date in paradise, it was great. The background being they're already interested in one another, they're already considering one another, and it is a reality show where they're kind of being pushed to find a date and a relationship. That's the whole point, it's a dating show. So of course, they're gonna flirt, they're gonna put on a show for this reality TV show. See what I did there? You saw? Well, whatever. They actually went on this date in paradise and it was great. Sian is interested in Junseo, Junseo is also interested in Sian, and because it's their first date with one another, there's a lot to know about each other. Conversation just flows smoothly. Hey, what is your occupation? What is your age? Huh? I guess it didn't really flow that smoothly, but it is kind of weird. In this whole Singles Inferno, this is an aside, but the whole point of Singles Inferno is this: there's these two sides, right? Inferno and Paradise. And there is one additional rule, which is they aren't allowed to disclose their occupation and age until they went to a paradise date with one another to create this kind of connection, you know? Because occupation, of course, it's so romantic, right? Yeah, it's so realistic, to be honest. I suppose it is more realistic in South Korea, and I don't know about any other place. I mean, to be fair, I don't even know whether or not this is actually true in South Korea as well, but you know, when you're an adult, you're trying to create a relationship with one another. It is one of the two things that are most important. I suppose it is indeed occupation and age. So kind of makes sense, but it is kind of weird that that doesn't really contribute anything to the entertainment value of the show itself. And you will see that sentiment being echoed around every social media that is discussing about Singles Inferno, because like, who cares about their age and occupation? That is only interesting for the actual participants and the people involved, but for the people watching it doesn't matter at all. But once again, just an aside. Back to the video. During their date, it was cute. They were connecting with one another, they're sharing their feelings, there's a lot to find out about each other. And by this point, Sian is also being swarmed by two other participants as well, not just Junseo, because you know, she's quite popular even in the show. I wonder why. It's totally not because she looks good or anything. Definitely not. She definitely has a great personality, and yes, she does have it. Totally not because of her looks though. I don't know, okay? I was just making a joke, please don't hurt me. Anyways, Paradise, throughout the date, they were being really honest and open with one another. From what I can infer of their personality throughout the show, they are really just honest people. And that personality trait really shows throughout this date. Junseo and Sian is being really honest and open with one another. Sian even goes as far as to share that she even have other participants in mind in here, even though they are in the middle of a date. Which, if it happens in real life, it would be kind of questionable, to be honest. And Junseo was also really mature in how he handles that situation of Sian basically pouring her heart out, you know?
근데 그냥 진심으로 했으면 좋겠어. 좋다, 완전 좋다 이런 말은 안 되고 만약에 좀 다른 사람의 생각이 난다, 많이 신경 쓰이고 있다, 이런 식의 표현이 난 더 좋을 것 같아. 셋 중에 누가 제일 좋은데?
지금
It was a really sentimental, emotional, resonating moment between these two people, and Junseo was there to basically reassure her that it's fine that you are feeling these things, that I wish for you to be more honest and open with me, that I will be okay with it because I assure you I will still keep on chasing you. I'm putting words in his mouth. At least that is from what I see at a glance. It's deeper than that, but you should just watch the show yourself. The point is, this date was really successful, to say the least. To say the least indeed, because some things did happen that makes these two people really get closer in just this one date. Nothing too crazy. This is an Asian dating show. This is not too hot to handle or Temptation Island. This is crazy from the perspective of your family that considers kissing before marriage not okay. Anyways, it's great, right? They were attracted to one another, and then they went on to this date in paradise where they really deepened their attractiveness to each other. They really emotionally connected with each other. They really emotionally resonated between Sian and Junseo throughout this paradise date. They're basically set to be each other's final pick. What could go wrong? Well, to be honest, not a lot. But some things did indeed go wrong. So because of that date, they really deepened their attractiveness to each other, right? They basically became each other's top picks. Sian and Junseo basically giddy up, can't wait to get into another paradise date to each other to put a ring on that finger. And so they go. Et voila, they went into another paradise date because why wouldn't they? Now, as you probably would have already guessed by now, the second date wasn't nearly as good as the first one. Their second time in paradise, it's not so paradise-y. They had quite the emotional disconnect, emotional disresonance. What do you call it? A fight? Or an altercation? I don't think it's a fight, but they weren't really connecting as much in this one. Sian, even on the first date, have already pointed out to Junseo that she kind of wishes Junseo to be gentler with her, to be sweeter, which is kind of true. But Junseo, being the barbarian that he is, because it is kind of funny, he's not that barbarian, but imagine this. Your date has told you, hey, can't you be gentler, be sweeter to me?
아, 너 나한테 퉁명스럽게.
나도 할 말 있어. 나 솔직히 지금 너무 쌀쌀맞아 나한테.
내가? 왜?
좀 다정하게 대해줄래?
아, 진짜?
If you're not used to it, you would kind of wonder, hey, what does that mean? What do I have to do? What have I been doing wrong?
내가 뭐 잘못하고 있나 지금?
But in this context, what Sian is actually asking out of Junseo is simply to call her by her name, call her by Sian, rather than what Junseo has been doing to call Sian. 야, hey.
왜 야라해?
어?
왜 야라해?
야, 별로야.
시안하라 해.
야, 안주가 잘 들어간다, 맛있어서.
야라 하지 말라고. 시안이라고.
시안아. 근데 좀 삐뚤, 야.
I mean, it goes deeper than that. I don't know if I can actually show it. I can't really show it as much, I think, but you kind of have to watch the show truly if you want to really get a feel of how he's actually being rough with Sian. You know, it's the kind of situation where Sian kind of wishes Junseo to be sweeter and gentler in how he approaches Sian. But here's the mistake that most people get towards. Rather than looking for specific actions to do, like, I don't know, opening the car door for her, pulling the chair for her, paying the bills for her. It's more so about a specific kind of feeling, being softer and gentler than what you would do to your mates. And Junseo, throughout the second date, unfortunately, is not doing just the bare minimum. I mean, the bare minimum is just to stop calling her ya or hey. She has even said before that she would even be okay to be called hey Sian, ya Siana, rather than just call her ya, hey, which is, I don't know, it's just not that sweet, you know.
난 이름 불러주는 거 좋아해.
알았어, 시연아. 야, 시연아. 이러고.
아, 괜찮아, 괜찮아.
아, 괜찮아?
It's okay, but no, just call her by her name. But he's not doing that. And he's also not doing a lot of different things that he did on the first date, culminating into this altercation between the two of them throughout the second date, where they're basically not feeling the same paradisey feeling that they had within their first paradise date. And there's also some more. Junseo is not even asking as much questions as he had on the first paradise date. On their second date, Sian is feeling as if Junseo is no longer curious about him.
다음날 청호도 데이트도 기대했었는데 그 밥만 먹는 거예요. 밥만 먹고 다 먹었으면 가자 이러고 가요. 나 좀 다정하게 대해주면 안 돼? 너무 금방 편해진 거 아니야?
나?
응.
안 편한데?
그러니까 됐어.
I think this is what she meant here. Basically, Junseo is already acting too comfortable too quick. You know, when a person is chasing somebody, usually you're trying to show the best side of you, right? Yeah, homegirl, don't worry. I don't mind driving 100 kilometers every day just to see you. Anything to make you happy, baby. And then the relationship happened and you won't even throw out the trash for her. That kind of dichotomy. I'm not saying that's what he did. Of course, that's not what he did. But that kind of dichotomy is, I think, what Sian is trying to point out here. Junseo is being too comfortable too quick. He's not showing that same level of gentler, grit, obsessiveness to basically... I can't think of a better word, okay? Excuse me, obtain Sian. Fuck it, I'm doubling down. It's to obtain Sian's final pick. It's not wrong in that sense, right? Essentially, in this case study, the basic foundations of why this date is ruined is because they're not showing the same level of interest and behavior as they did within the first date. Now, that's not really that useful, is it? Basically, Junseo and Sian is not making enough effort to make this date a successful and great one. Hence, the date is ruined. Now, hold up a minute. I don't know how interested you are to Singles Inferno and you would actually watch it yourself or not. But if you're the tiniest bit curious, go to any social media really and look up Singles Inferno, their opinions on this specific couple, Junseo and Sian. Oh boy. They really did not like this date. They considered this date to be totally ruined. Junseo is considered to be a total red flag. Sian is also considered a total red flag for whole different reasons. Basically, this whole date is horrendous according to those unhinged Singles Inferno watcher and enjoyer. But if you actually watch this date yourself, you'll find out it's actually not that bad. I mean, to be fair, when I first watched this Paradise date as well, I also considered it to be really horrendous. I think it is because of our expectations coming into it with the contrast of their first Paradise date. Their first Paradise date was really emotionally bonding. They're sharing their deepest thoughts, their deepest emotions, sharing their thoughts on this really odd scenario that they're going through. And then we go to this second Paradise date, nothing seems to be working in comparison. They're having a lover's quarrel. Actually found the word, not altercation, a lover's quarrel. In their second Paradise date, they're even going through a double date with another different couple, you know, to spice up the show. And in that double date, it's very apparent that one side is not having that smooth connection with one another, but the other couple is being really sweet and gentle, being really flirtatious with each other. Basically, one couple is really green, but the other couple is really red. So, makes the whole Paradise date seems way worse than it is. But when I we watch it, it's actually not that bad. Even towards the end of their second Paradise date, they're even having their own moments of clarifying their own feelings.
2일차 천국도 어떤데? 2일차 천국.
We're having a lover's quarrel, but I don't wish for this to happen, so why is this happening?
지금 마음 좋아.
이거 좀 다정하게 대해줄 수 있잖아.
근데 이게 내 스타일인데 어떡해.
It's kind of a sweet moment, to be honest. And as is true with any kind of video media really, there is a chance that it is just a result of some malicious editing. Well, it's not exactly malicious, they're just trying to spice things up, create some more drama so people get to talk about this reality TV show even more, to talk about Singles Inferno even more, which is clearly working, you know, because what am I doing right now? In any case, in this Paradise date, by comparison to their first Paradise date, it is indeed a ruined Paradise date. And for this specific scenario, I think the simplest way I can put it is just they're not making enough effort to make sure that they're connecting with one another. But if you actually watch it yourself, it's actually not that bad, it's actually not that ruined, but there is still an altercation, so I'm not actually completely wrong, so please don't hurt me. If you want to take something out of this video to learn for your own relationships in the future, be better. Be better towards your date, so your date will feel accommodated and have a great time when you're having a date with them. Anyways, I don't know. I think it's really fun. Go watch it yourself, to be honest. Singles Inferno is pretty fun, but it's not for everybody. If you're not interested, whatever. I hope you're interested in this video at least. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great time because I sure did. You can go ahead, like, subscribe, share, and whatever if you want. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.